Hey everybody, this is Grandpa Lee, your coach for the Cherry Grove Charizards. Alright, so this is the draft analysis for Cherry Grove Charizards, my team in the CCL. If you're not already following, check them out on Twitter at CCL Official. It's really awesome. I'm going to start off here with my Mega pick, which was Mega Alakazam. Now, I grabbed this one for a few reasons. Let's start off talking about the ability here. Of course, Mega Alakazam gets Trace. I'm taking the ability of whatever he's facing, which is nice, especially when you're facing off against stuff with some really nice abilities like Levitate. But Alakazam, he's really versatile, so I can use him without the Mega Stone as well, which is where we get into stuff like Synchronize, Inner Focus, or my personal favorite, Magic Guard. I can bring that in and, screw your Toxic. Now, the moveset, again, Alakazam is really versatile. He's got, of course, you see on the screen, Focus Blast, Psy Shock, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, lots of great attacking moves. You also get stuff like Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam. I mean, if I'm absolutely insane, I can go physical with some, Drain Punch and crazy stuff like that, but, I mean, who's going to do that, right? Now let's get into looking at the stats here. Obviously, special attack is through the flippin' roof. Speed as well. Mega Alakazam is actually one of the fastest Pokemon in existence. So that's definitely going to be an asset for me against some of my opponents who also have some very fast Pokemon. Not a lot of HP, not a lot of defenses. Special defense is actually not bad, but this is definitely a glass cannon type situation. Don't want to leave him in on any heavy hits. Next up, we've got Zapdos, who I really picked for a couple of reasons. Mainly, it's another great special attacking mon, but also because defog. Hazards are definitely an issue, especially for flying types with those rocks. So defog was definitely a must. The abilities, it's got that pressure, makes the opponent use more PP, which is really nice when you're using low PP moves. Static is also very viable. If anybody wants to come in and body slam or any of that stuff, they're going to be paralyzed, not me. It's got a great, and again, a very wide move pool. Heat Wave is spectacular. Discharge, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Thunder. Its electrics are awesome. It's got, if you want Ancient Power, that 10%, 5% chance to boost every stat. It's rare. Oh, 10%. I'm stupid. It's rare, but it'll happen sometimes. And, don't discount a good rock type move. Let's see. The stats, it's actually got a pretty good HP. Its defenses are nothing to sneeze at. Again, special attack is where it's at with this. And it's got a fairly good speed. Modest, of course, raises that special attack. It's not going to be using physical moves all that much, so Modest is definitely good. Also, again here, Timid is great because it's got that 100 speed, and Timid can give it that little bit of boost it needs to outspeed certain other mons, such as Charizard or other things. Okay, so for my final OU pick, I've got Tyranitar here. T-Tar, my nigga. This is one of my favorite Pokemon, hands down, definitely my favorite Pokemon of Gen 2. I just love this thing. It's got that Sandstream ability, which is ridiculously awesome. Killing that last few HP on certain demons Pokemon that I won't mention. And also raising my special defense, because I'm a rock type, which leads me into some of the sets I might want to use. The Assault Vest Sandstream boost to the special defense makes it take every Hydro Pump, every Focus Blast. It's living. We got the lead Stealth Rock Focus Sash, or I can go all out attacking with all sorts of heavy hitting moves like Earthquake, Stone Edge, Crunch, and of course it gets Dragon Dance. So all in all, a ridiculously good mon. It's got a pretty good HP stat. Look at that, 100. It's nice. Attack, physical attack is great. Special attack is also fair. So a lot of people run Fire Blast on that for things like Ferrothorn, which is definitely useful. Defense is awesome. Special defense, of course, I've talked about that. Get that boost. It's pretty slow, but it doesn't need to be all that fast because it's living. It's living them hits. Of course, like I said, we've got Adamant for the full-on attacker. We've got the special defense raising natures. I personally prefer Careful or Sassy. Those ones are nice. Or I could even go mixed attacker with something like, I don't remember the specific nature at the moment. Oh look, there they are. I actually like Naughty because it's getting that special defense boost from the Sand Stream anyway. So Naughty is great for a mixed attacker. Alright, so now we're moving on to the UU picks. We've got Haxorus, the awesome axe-headed dragon Pokemon here. It's a really nice Pokemon. I love the Mold Breaker ability. Levitate can suck it. Rivalry, don't see myself using all that much, but who knows? There's certain situations where they're picking out a Pokemon that is, only male or only female. This could be very useful. Unnerve, things that eat berries will not be eating their berries, but yeah, Mold Breaker is definitely where it's at. And then, of course, physical attacker, physical, all the way. Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Poison Jab, Dragon Dance for the setup. You can also use Swords Dance if I'm not worried about speeding up at all. So definitely got a couple options there. And then there's, other stuff. Aqua Tail is actually a really great move. Brick Break for anybody who wants to set up their screens. We've got Dragon Tail if I just want to get them the hell out. We can also switch out to Outrage, but Fairies are a worry, so you don't want to really get locked in. And then, of course, Poison Jab is, again, for those Fairies. And the stats here are actually really solid. HP is not spectacularly high, but we've got that attack stat through the Fleepin' Roof. It's one of the highest attack stats that I've seen. Defense is alright. Special defense, not as much, but it's also pretty fast, which is where that Dragon Dance comes in, especially if you give it an Animate Nature. Its attack is going to be boosted quite a bit. A Jolly Nature would boost that speed just a little bit to try and get a few more quicker D-Dance off, I should say. So definitely some great physical power here to balance out the couple of special attackers I had earlier. Okay, so next up we've got Slurpuff. That's my first fairy on the team. Fairies, since 6th gen came up, are definitely a must on any battle team. This Unburden boost is pretty awesome, especially since the primary set for this thing, of course, is going to include Belly Drum for that instant maximum attack boost. So you put that with a citrus berry, you eat the berry, get your HP back, and all of a sudden you're like twice as fast. It is ridiculous. Now that's one of the reasons I picked this, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The other reason I picked this Pokemon is because of its shiny. It's a tasty little chocolate cupcake, and that is fucking awesome, okay? So of course we got the moveset. See, look at that chocolate deliciousness. Cherry on top and everything. So, moveset, of course, Play Rough, number 1 physical fairy type move to go along with the Belly Drum. You can also run this thing special with the Calm Mind, which is super awesome as well. It's got a pretty good HP stat, as most fat little Pokemon do. So the Wish, of course, will come in handy. And then, of course, it's got things like Toxic to inflict upon the opponent, Aromatherapy to take the inflictions off of myself, Cotton Guard to boost that crazy defense that it doesn't have, and all sorts of other nice moves there. Man, it gets Heal Bell as well. Just Aromatherapy, Heal Bell, you cannot poison me at all. Haha. Of course, like I mentioned, the HP is actually fair for a relatively small Pokemon. Attack and special attack are roughly equal, so that's why you can go either way with that Belly Drum or Calm Mind set. And the speed, it's got okay speed, which is where that Jolly Nature comes in. Definitely want to try and get a little bit faster than some of the other slow tanks, especially since anything this thing's going to be trying to destroy will probably be fat and slow as well. Alright, and so rounding out my UU picks here is Porygon Z. Now, when I got to this point, I was kind of debating between this one and another Mon, which I actually don't even remember what it was. It was a physical attacker, I'm pretty sure, and I was debating whether I wanted another special or another physical on my team, and I decided to go special with this one. And, Porygon Z is just a Pokemon that I've always liked, so, here it is. It's got 3 absolutely fantastic abilities. Adaptability to boost the attacks, any normal attacks it uses, so Tri-Attack, Hyper Beam, all that stuff is hitting you like a truck. Then you got stuff like Download. If somebody's going to bring in a physical wall, I bring in Porygon Z, raise that special attack, and boom, you're gone. And of course, Analytic. You give it the negative speed IVs, and it automatically boosts all of its attacks, which is really nice. Now, of course, moving on to the attacks, we've got things like Tri-Attack, 20% chance to inflict one of the statuses on the opponent. It's the bread and butter of this thing. You got a number of recovery moves in Pain Split and Recover. It's got a lot of versatility with a lot of TMs like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, some really nice stuff there. All the hidden powers are at its fingertips. It's got the psychic type moves you can substitute. It's just a really awesome, versatile little Mon with a nice special attack. And let's look at that special attack. 135 base. That's really awesome. It's not so much of an attacker, but a physical attack is still sort of there. Its defenses aren't the best, and its HP is sort of mid-range, but it's fairly fast. And of course, like I said, that special attack. And then of course the speed. Like I said, give it the 0 speed IVs, give it a negative speed nature, and analytic comes into play. So that 90 is kind of a nice middle road there. Alright, so now we're in the second half of my draft with one Cofagrigus, which I know that some of my friends, Hubba, likes a lot. It's definitely a nice Pokemon. The number one reason I picked it this time around is because it is a wall. I mean, it's not just like, you know, look at it. It physically looks like you wouldn't scratch it, but its stats are ridiculous. Of course, it's got that Mummy. It's the only ability it can have, but it's a nice ability, especially for somebody who's a physical attacker. You want to get rid of their ability, you know, like Levitate, anything like that. It's really nice to use. Moveset, again, this is primarily going to be a wall, so not a lot of attacking moves are going to be on this, but you've got stuff like Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split to, you know, drop your opponent's HP incrementally. Destiny Bond, if you're on your last legs and you need to take something with you, that's awesome. But it also does have a few great choices for attacking moves. You know, Energy Ball, Shadow Ball, all the balls. You know, Cofagrigus, he has balls. Got stuff like Dark Pulse, Knockoff, some really awesome stuff to just continue messing with your opponent. Hex is also really nice. You got that Will-O-Wisp Hex combo, which is, you know, double the damage, which is spectacular, especially on a stab move. And then we've got our stats here. Its HP is actually not all that great, if you can believe it, for such an awesome wall, but that's where its defenses come in. Defense is through the roof. Its special defense is nothing to sneeze at, and with some investments like you see there, it's definitely on par or can even be better, especially if you slap an Assault Vest on there. You know, you're losing some of your other moves, but you know, nothing is hitting it. And of course, its speed is, let's face it, it's terrible. It's garbage. But this thing doesn't need to outspeed anything, especially when you've got that Mummy coming in and removing all of their abilities. We've got a defensive, especially defensive nature in there right now, which is, I think, pretty much the only way that I'm probably going to run it. I don't see myself turning it into any kind of attacker, but who knows? You know, we'll see as the league goes on what kind of crazy stuff I may come up with. Okay, and so next up is Seismitoad. Now this guy, he's got his little pustules all over. He's an awesome kind of dude. He's a lot of fun. I saw one Cuddle of Death use him in her UCL matches, and definitely sparked me onto the ability. Its you know, usefulness, its versatility is definitely awesome. Primarily a physical attacker, which is where that Poison Touch ability comes in. If I'm going to be punching you, I also want to be able to poison you, which is really nice. Swift Swim is a great ability if I'm setting up the rain, and Water Absorb is awesome if anybody's got, you know, one of those heavy-hitting water types. You know, your Waterfall, nah, I don't care. Just heal me. There we go. Now, the abilities, like I said before, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, work great with Poison Touch. It's 10% chance to freeze, 30% chance to poison. You're probably going to come away looking like toxic ice cubes after I'm done with you. Drain Punch gets my HP back. If the Poison Touch wasn't enough, I've got Poison Jab to bring you down. Knockoff, I mean, everything gets knockoff, but this thing gets it and it hits hard with it, which is really nice. And then of course it also gets things like Brick Break for any screeners, Earthquake for that solid ground type stab, all sorts of stuff. Next up, we've got stats, lots of HP, so of course you can turn this thing into something of a wall, because its defenses are, they're okay. 75 is not bad. Of course, it's a physical attacker over a special attacker, although it's only a 10-point difference, so it's definitely could go either way, given the right natures and investments. Okay, so to round out my RU picks, you've got Hitmontop here. Here I was debating between Hitmontop and Hitmonlee. You know, you'd think Hitmonlee, Heimly, it'd be natural, right? Well, it was. The last time was in a league like this. I didn't want to do the same things over again, so this time I went Hitmontop. Another great reason to grab him was that rapid spin you see there. Gets rid of all them fancy hazards they want to set up. We've got Technician as primary ability. It's got all sorts of moves that can benefit from that, like the 4 you see on the screen. It's also got Intimidate to drop the attack of any physical sweepers that they might bring in, or Steadfast if anybody else is using that Fake Out that you see on my set. Speaking of my set, Rapid Spin, Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Fake Out, all awesome moves that benefit from that Technician boost, but it's also got a number of other moves that don't need to benefit from Technician, like Brick Break, Close Combat, all sorts of things like Earthquake and Drill Run for any electric types or fire types. They want to burn me. Facade. I'm still hitting you like a truck. So definitely some awesome versatility here with the little Capoeira fighter. Next up, we're going to take a look at the stats. It's got some fairly low HP, so I don't see myself using this as a wall in any sense, although it does have a pretty good special defense. Its speed is alright, its special attack is terrible, so we're not going to be special attacking at all with this guy. But that physical attack is pretty solid, especially with the Technician boosted stuff, so I can definitely see myself using Adamant pretty much all the time with this guy. Okay, so to round out my team, we have my NU picks, starting with this stank-ass bitch, this pile of trash, absolute trash. Garbodor, yes, it is literal garbage. I actually really like the Pokemon, though. It's got some nice abilities there. Stench, it's like a built-in King's Rock. Every time I hit you, you're gonna flinch. Well, maybe not every time, but I'm gonna try. Weak armor, its defense and its speed are really not all that great, so I don't see myself using weak armor all that much, but Aftermath is nice. If they're going to hit me with one of those physical attacks, I can take down a quarter of their HP with me, maybe even get the kill off of it, which is really nice. Of course, we've got the moveset. Again, it's actually fairly versatile if you think about it. It's got Gunk Shot for that heavy-hitting poison-type stab, 30% chance to poison, really awesome. Then it's got other stuff like Setup, Rock Polish. I didn't even know it got Rock Polish until we were doing this. And, so it's going to get faster there. Toxic Spikes to set up and inflict on all of my opponents. And other stuff, like, who knows, I might run Explosion on this thing. You never know, it's kind of crazy. I've got Haze to eliminate stat changes my opponents might bring up. It can get all sorts of crazy moves like Psychic, Rock Blast, even Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, can you believe it? This trash spits viable seeds. It's crazy. Next up, we got the stats. Of course, HP is 80, which is not that bad. Attack 95, so I could definitely turn this into something of a wall with the right investments and items. Its defenses are both 82, so it's pretty solid. Special attack is not spectacular, so I probably won't be doing all that much special attacks. Like I said, it's not too fast, so I'm probably going to be running Adamant with this or other attack-raising natures. Might have a few HP investments as well here or there, but definitely looking to hit hard with the Gunk Shot and other moves like that. Okay, so here we've got my penultimate Pokemon, Samurott. Now this one is actually kind of funny for a few reasons, the reasons why I picked it. Because we were getting down to the end of the draft, it was getting late, we'd been doing this for like 2 or 3 days at this point, so I'm looking at my draft and I'm thinking, I don't have all that much water resist. I've got Seismitoad there for water attacks, but he's neutral to water type attacks. So I figured, let's grab a water type Pokemon, and who would come to my mind but Samurott? Because, funnily enough, when I started my Pokemon White playthrough, I actually picked Oshawott, and that 1 in 8,192 chance it was actually shiny. So this is like, the stars aligned for this one, and I grabbed it. And it's got some nice stats and abilities to go with it. Shell Armor, of course, is a hidden ability, relatively recently released. It cannot be crit, which is really nice. It's got Torrent, so if they're bringing me down to that 130 HP, my Waterfall and everything else is going to do a lot more. We've got the moves, of course, Aqua Jet, Priority. Priority is always nice. Its stats are nice. I'll talk about those in a sec, but Air Slash is definitely viable on this thing, along with things like Swords Dance to raise its stats, and it gets a number of moves you might not think, like Superpower, Dragon Tail, a lot of stuff. Grass Knot is awesome. Water type using a Grass type move. What? Of course, Ice Beam is always a must-have. Things like Mega Horn and Night Slash. Razor Shell is actually its signature move and can actually lower the opponent's defense, so it makes up for its lower attack power. So definitely worth checking out, you know. And now let's look at the stats. We've got the HP is not bad. Like I said, the attack and special attack, those are actually almost equal. So making this thing as a mixed attacker is 100% viable. You've got physical water type moves like Aqua Jet and Waterfall that benefit from an attack stat, and Swords Dance. But then you've also got things like Air Slash and Surf and Scald, Ice Beam that work with the special attack stat. So definitely good to go either way. It's not super fast, but it can definitely get in there. And if you're making it a mixed attacker, of course, things like Naughty are definitely a must. And now on to the final Pokemon of my draft. This cute little fluff ball here, Wigglytuff. Now, the number one reason I picked this is, you know, we're at the end of the draft. This is the last pick, and I'm looking at all the mons that are left, and I figure competitive. This thing gets competitive, so anybody who's got that Intimidate, or anybody who wants to set up sticky webs, you know, I got you, B. We got our nice special attack raise here, and all of a sudden I'm hitting you like a pink little truck. So we've got Q-Charm as well. If anybody wants to, you know, hit that physical contact, they're gonna fall in love. You know, we do love these hoes out here. And of course, Frisk, if I want to know what they're carrying, and kind of play around that. Now the moveset, of course, with the competitive, we're pretty much always going to go special attack here. So things like Dazzling Gleam for the stab, Fire Blast to take out them steel types, you know, fairies fear steel, but not when I have fire. And then, of course, it is a fat little mother, so we've got that whole Wish Protect going on to get back the HP on this mon and any of my others that I might want to swap in. It's also got some... physical attack isn't great, but it's got some viable physical moves like Drain Punch, Fire Punch, and all sorts of stuff like that. Of course, we've got Hyper Voice to take advantage of the getting past enemy subs, along with things like Heal Bell to, again, restore my team. So this Wigglytuff can actually go either way, you know, Cleric or Attacker. It all works. Now the stats, of course, I mentioned the HP. This HP is almost as ridiculous as you know, certain other fat pink mons I could mention that really do play the cleric role well. Physical attack is not spectacular, but it can do well with certain moves like I mentioned. And of course, we've got the special attack of 85 boosted by competitive. Is really nice. The only real drawbacks to it are its defense and its speed. So it's good it's got all that HP because it's not really going to be taking hits all that well. And that has been the draft analysis for the Cherry Grove Charizards. I am your coach, Grandpa Lee, and I hope to do well in this league. But number one is I'm here to have fun with all of my friends. So I hope you guys enjoy watching the battles. Thanks. You have a great day.